Okay, welcome back to the Find Your 20 Coaching Insight Show. I'm your host, Mark Sieverkrop. And if you're a business owner who's looking to have more focus, more profits, and more time, then you've come to the right place, because this is the show where I share the top insights from recent coaching sessions with my clients to help you throw out the 80% that's holding you back so that you can build a business that you actually love owning and a lifestyle you're excited about. That's right. If your business was these 5 coffee cups, I don't drink coffee, but I got a whole bunch of cups. These 5 coffee cups, we wouldn't throw them because that would make a mess and they would break. And these are ones I've been given. But we would set down 4 of them and we'd focus on the one that's most important, which obviously would be my Ted Lasso coffee cup, which is one of my favorites because, well, it's Ted Lasso. If you're not familiar with Ted Lasso, you should be familiar with Ted Lasso. Message me, I'll tell you all about it. Anyways, we would focus on the one that's most important. But before we get started today, and I've got 3 awesome tips for you today, but before we get started, I want to share with you today's featured resource, which is the Find Your 20 virtual retreat, which is coming up on October 12th through the 14th, 2022. And if you're listening to this after October 12th, then don't worry, there will be another one coming up, because we do these twice a year and they're really awesome. First off, you can attend from wherever you're at. So you don't have to get a hotel. You don't have to get on an airplane. You don't have to drive. You don't have to get away, leave your family. You can attend wherever you're at. But we're going to spend 3 days really digging into your business and focusing on and identifying the 20% of projects, tasks, and processes that are most important in your business and will most directly contribute to revenue in your business. And my promise to you is that you will walk away from these 3 days with a shorter, more focused to-do list and a crystal clear plan for the next steps in your business. That is my promise to you. We're going to accomplish that in just 3 days. And when I say 3 days, I don't like being on Zoom all day long. So 3 days, it's going to be 3 days of 4 to 5 hours a day and a break in there as well, obviously for a lunch or a snack. So it's not 3 full days, it's 3 days of 4 to 5 hours a day focused on your business, building your business, focusing on and identifying the most important things in your business so that you can be as successful and as effective as possible and achieve that business that you love owning and a lifestyle that you're excited about. So if you're interested in attending the Find Your 20 virtual retreat, we have a special offer right now that you can learn more about at findyour20.com/retreat. That's findyour20.com/retreat. Get all the information there. Come join us for 3 days. It's going to be amazing. And of course, you can see all of my recommended resources at findyour20.com/my-best-resources. And with that, let's jump into the tips for this week. The first one is, whenever you're doing something in your business, it's important that you identify what outcome you're looking for. I was talking with a client this past week, and they are planning to host a retreat. I'm hosting a retreat. They're planning on hosting a virtual summit. And the first question I always ask anytime anybody's running a virtual summit, they're doing a challenge, they're doing any sort of event like that, is what is your outcome? What outcome are you looking for? Because the outcome you're looking for will impact every single aspect of the promotion, the production, and the follow-up for that event. And what I mean is, I had a client one time, this was a long time ago, but I shared it with this client this past week, who was running a summit as well. And I was running the affiliate side of it for her. And we talked about it and we said, what is your goal? What do you want to accomplish from this summit? And she had told us that her goal was to grow her email list. She wanted to grow her email list. We said, great, we can do that. So we focused on everything we did with our affiliates, with how we structured the summit, with the pricing of the summit. Everything was focused on getting as many people into the summit as possible, getting as many people onto her email list because she wanted to grow her email list. Well, then fast forward, we get closer to the summit and she starts freaking out. She starts going crazy because it's not selling the way she wants it to. And we had to stop and we had to say, hold on, wait. When we started this, you said your goal was to grow your email list, not to maximize sales. Is that still the case? Well, yeah, that's still the case. Okay, so because we're focused on growing the list, it does change and affect how many people we're getting to purchase. Now, it's not to say that we didn't get people, we had a lot of people purchase that summit and the upgrades and whatnot. But our focus, our primary focus, was getting as many people into the funnel as possible. And that was our goal. And then she could nurture those people long term, grow her email list, and build sales both now and in the future. So by focusing on one, it doesn't mean that you have to exclude everything else, but it does mean that that one outcome is going to completely impact and inform every decision you make. For example, if your goal with a summit was to maximize sales, you may not run a free sale or free summit. You may charge upfront a small fee. You may structure your upsells differently. You may change the things that you teach so you can sell on the back end. So everything is informed by the outcome you're looking for. And that's true for a summit, it's true for a challenge, it's true for any kind of product launch. You need to be clear what your goal is. And typically the goals are either growing your email list, it's making sales, it's making back-end sales, it's finding people that'll be good for promoting stuff later on. But whatever that outcome is, you need to be clear on that from the beginning. If you're not clear on what your number one outcome is from that event, from that thing you're doing, it's going to be difficult, one, to accomplish it, and two, to recognize whether you have accomplished it, to know whether you've accomplished those things. So be clear from the outset of what your outcome is, what outcome you're looking for. Now, the second one that I want to talk about today, the second tip is, I was really proud of this turn of phrase, but I titled it "Creator's Gonna Create." And I was thinking about the hater's gonna hate, but I have a client who's a creator. And when I say creator, I think we all know people like this, where like they're just always creating something. They're creating a new product, they're designing something new, they're selling something new. Like they're always just coming up with new ideas and new things and new things and new things. So that's a creator. And it's also, if you've heard of Wealth Dynamics, which is an entrepreneurial personality test, there is a type in Wealth Dynamics. One of the 9 types is called a creator. And it's somebody that creates. The challenge for a creator, both the defined creator in Wealth Dynamics and also just the person that always wants to create something, is that's what they love doing. That's where they feel like they're in flow. That's where they feel like they're doing the most good. That's what they love doing. And because of that, they just keep creating and keep creating and keep creating. And they get on this cycle where that's all they do. And then all of a sudden they have 15 products and they have 20 ebooks and they have 6 different video courses and they have this and they have this and they have this and they have this. And then all of a sudden it's just this big hodgepodge. And in past episode, a couple weeks ago, I think it was, I talked about having like this wheel and spoke plan of everything pointing to the same signature program. But I was talking to a client this past week who is a creator, and she definitely falls into this category of she feels most alive. She feels happiest when she's creating something new. And she told me, she said that she knew she needed to take all of these things she created and she needed to get them up on her website so that they could be sold, so that people could purchase them. Because she had she said, I have so much content. I have so many things I've created. I have so many products and processes to go through and blueprints and all of these things. I need to get them on my website so that people can buy them. But she said, I don't like doing it. I'm a creator. I don't like this idea of like designing this page and getting all the things on there, all the things that go along with it. And one of the things that I shared with her, and if that sounds familiar to you, if you're that kind of person that likes to create, is find a way. I told her, I said, find a way to use that creative energy in the creation of that page, in designing that page and creating a good experience for your potential customers so that when they go to that page, it's created in a way that, see what I did there? Created. It's created in a way that is a good experience for them. And so you can utilize that creative energy for other things. You can design, you can look at it as a creation process and something that wouldn't typically be a creative process. And the same goes with any of your personality traits. You can apply those traits to what you're doing. So for instance, I'm on the Wealth Dynamics, I'm a star. And a star is somebody who's very extemporaneous. Is that the word? Somebody that's off the cuff, somebody that likes to be in front of people, somebody that likes to perform. I can tell you for this, I write down a few notes. I don't script it out. I just talk, and that's the way I work best. But I can use that in other aspects. And so when I wanted to create a podcast, the way to do that for me was to be able to be off the cuff. It was to create some bullet points and then talk through those bullet points rather than writing out, scripting it out, following a script. That doesn't work for me. So whatever your talents are, whatever your skills are, it's important that you utilize those in every aspect of your business and find ways to use those skills in each aspect of your business. So creator's going to create. So find ways to create. The final one I want to share with you is the value of asking why. I had a conversation with a potential client this week, and he was sharing with me all the things that he's doing and all the things he has going on. And there's a lot of things. And there was when I'm talking to somebody in a coaching relationship, in a coaching format, not only to say every once in a while, quite often, I'll hear somebody say something that to them is the honest truth. Like there's no doubt that what they said was true. And that's almost never true. There's almost always other ways of looking at things that we assume are cut and dried, always the way it is, almost always isn't the case. And so one of the things that I like to do as a coach is to just ask the question. And it's funny because I always have to kind of preface the question because people get offended. So for instance, with this person, he was talking about his next steps, and he said, well, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And I said, okay, the question that came up for me was this. And I said, and this is how I preface it. I said, I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm not saying that, but I'm asking the question, why do you think that's the right next step? And he stopped and he goes, that's a good question. And he kind of talked through it, and he ended up believing that that was still the next right step. But a lot of times what happens is we get so focused on what we're doing that we just assume that that's the right way. And we never stop to ask why. Why is that the next best step? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this way? Why does it have to be done this way? And being willing to be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves that question will make a big difference in the results we get. Because one of two things will happen. The first one is that by asking that question, you will be able to explain why that's the next best step. And because you're able to explain it, you may think of things that you hadn't thought of before. You may think of logic that you hadn't thought of before. You may think of steps that you hadn't thought of before. You may think of how that ties in to something you hadn't thought of before. And the other option is you ask that question and you get to the end and you say, actually, you're right. That might not be the next best thing. That might not be what I'm supposed to do next. And then you can rethink it and rework it and decide what is the next best step rather than blindly. And I don't want to say blindly because we've all made the decisions up to that point, but rather than just taking for granted that that is the next right thing, asking the question and being intellectually honest enough to challenge our own thoughts, to say, is that the right thing? Why am I doing this? Why do I think that's the next thing? Why am I doing it this way? Why did I talk? Why is this the process that I put in place? And being willing to be intellectually honest and ask those questions will allow you to, one, defend your position better, if that is the decision you need to make, and two, avoid something that maybe you hadn't thought of, avoid a challenge or a problem with that you hadn't thought of because you just assumed that was the next right step. So I encourage you to take the time to ask why, to ask yourself why, and to find somebody, like a coach or a mentor or a friend or an accountability partner that's willing to ask you why. Why are you doing that? I have a couple friends that do that for me, and it's really, really valuable to have that feedback and that support of them asking me, why are you doing that? Why do you think that's the next best thing? And there's times where I have to stop and say, you're right. I don't know that is the next best thing. That's just what I was doing next. and we get in autopilot and we don't think about it. So that's the third one. So today we talked about identifying what outcome you're looking for. We talked about how creators are going to create. And if you're going to create, then you should use that to your advantage. And you should use all of your skills and your abilities to your advantage. And we talked about the value of asking why when you find yourself just accepting that something is cut and dried and the way it's supposed to be. So thank you for listening. I appreciate having you here. I appreciate you taking the time to hang out with me during this podcast. And if you haven't, make sure you grab a copy of my book, Find Your 20, by going to findyour20.com/grab your copy. And I'll drop it into the mail for you ASAP. And just cover the shipping and handling. I'll take care of the book. I'll throw in some extra things for you as well. And it'll be awesome. You'll love it, I promise. And as always, please leave a rating or review for the show. It helps people to find the show. It helps them to find out if it's right for them. You know, we all look at reviews. Reviews are important. So please leave a rating and review for the podcast. It would mean the world to me. And until next time, get out there and chase your 20.